have a problem. I can see. And sometimes I come across images that are simply outstanding. The kind that make you stop for a moment and think, I want to be able to create work that feels like this. Because I can tell the difference between strong and weak visuals, whether it's photography, AI, 3D, or a mix of all three. Some images pull you in instantly. Others just don't land. And naturally, I want my work to have that impact. So let's go deeper. Almost any type of image you can think of, someone has already worked on it. In commercial real estate, truly unique situations are rare. You can compare images of sofas, bedrooms, villas, living rooms, skyscrapers, aerial shots, and pick the best ones. I'm not saying you can't create something new. Of course you can, but it's better to take the best global experience and build your own work on top of it. So, what is the reference? A reference is someone else's experience turned into a result. No other tool can guarantee your result. A reference can. Not the rule of thirds, not color theory, nothing. But when you work with a reference, when you actually copy it, you'll get exactly the result you see, and even better. The only question is your technical skills. But RENDER.CAMP will help you with that. And you may say, Daniel, I tried so many times to find reference at the beginning of a project, and every time it felt almost impossible. That's exactly the most common mistake people make, trying to find references at the start of a project, or even worse, in the middle of it. The reality is, you will not find them, and you'll get disappointed in a whole area of using references. References are powerful, but they don't work like that. You need to build your knowledge base long before a project comes in, because when it does, your brain is already working. From the very first meeting with a client, you start imagining how the project will look based on your existing experience. And most likely, you will not find an exact reference for that vision. Here's how the brain works. It always generates ideas based on knowledge it has. But the problem is, it can't say, I don't have information at all. Instead, it fills the emptiness with a total mass and present it as knowledge. That's a normal defense mechanism. Otherwise, we'd go crazy from uncertainty. Think of it like a game map. The explored area is your knowledge. The black area is what you don't know yet. So, you know you need to go there and explore. But your brain doesn't work like that. It doesn't realize it doesn't know something. Instead, it replaces missing facts with imagination using fragments of existing experience. This messy mix is not something you can rely on. And during a project, when real questions come up, like window profiles, pool overflow details, constructions, some camera angles, literally anything, you'll realize you don't actually have that knowledge. Not about real world, not about the artistic side, not about the software. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You have to admit that you don't actually know what the reality looks like in detail. Simple example. Pick any place you've never been to, like Amsterdam, Tokyo, New York, London, whatever. Got it? Now close your eyes and imagine it. You see an image, right? That is imagination. You know you've never been there. You don't have real knowledge. But your brain still gives you a picture. It fooled you. Your brain lies to you. Just accept that. And you think you already know everything. You just need to learn how to do it in some software. But no. Tools, it's just a brush in your hands. I know it's hard to hear, but the truth is, you have to accept the fact you don't know something and learn it. And reference is the best way to do that. And yes, imagination is important too, but imagination alone is just a bunch of useless ideas. Knowledge alone has no originality. In the balance between these two, that's where the creativity happens. I'd call it controlled creativity, and that's exactly what we need. You don't invent new alphabet to write a message, right? You use existing letters, words, and structures. But bringing your own voice, ideas, tones, humor, personality, visualization work the same way. You don't invent technical elements like window profiles, sofas, design, textures, reflections. It already exists. The same with the artistic side, like composition, color, light. You don't invent it from scratch. Good composition already exists too. The same with color harmony and lighting scenarios. And finally, design and architecture. They also exist. And in every type of image, there are both good and bad examples. And we can learn from all of them. References are someone else's experience that we can load into our brain and use. And yes, I'm talking about consciously building your knowledge system, which your brain will rely on while making decisions. This is long-term improvement, and this is essential. Also, your brain tries to fall in love with images. You might like something today and dislike it tomorrow, but the good news is images are easy to compare and easy to rank. When you look at single image, it may seem strong, but once you place it next to others, you'll clearly see which one is better. Same actually happens with your render. People don't explore them for hours like you do. They scroll past them in split seconds, comparing them to everything they ever seen. And to avoid this trap, you need to collect references daily on the board and compare them. And in the long run, it works in two ways. It improves your visual awareness, and when the project comes, your brain will pull from those carefully selected cherry-picked references instead of filling gaps with guesses. And when you choose a reference for your project, don't change it. If you start doubt it, make a conscious choice and stick to it. Also, keeping them on boards is crucial. It allows you to compare references within the same category. Now, it's practical part. Start with My Saved Project on Instagram. Then go to ArchDaily, Dzine, Dzine Boom, Marcello. Explore this list of photographers, architectural studios, and design studios. Download the best images you can find. You'll end up with hundreds or even thousands. And don't worry, it's not hard. You can do that in a couple of hours. So first, download everything, then review and delete anything obviously weaker. Next, create a board in Concept Board or Mirror and upload everything there and structure it. Start by splitting them into architecture and interiors. Then break them down even further. Architecture to small villas, medium houses, large houses, aerial shots. Interiors to public and private spaces. For example, let's focus on private interiors as an example. There are living rooms, bedrooms, bathrooms, and kid rooms. Of course, it could be more, but that's not important right now. You need to understand the logic. Let's take a living room and break it down into sofa area, the fireplace, the dining area, the kitchen area, and the kitchen island. Once you found the hero of the shot, find the best examples of how to present it. Take a kitchen island, for example, and collect the references you like the most. For me, there are only 3 strong ways to present it: frontal view, 3/4 angle, and view along the island. That's all. There are also cropped versions, but they are just variations of main types. So now you have the main ways to show the kitchen island, at least based on my current set of references. And when a project comes in, I already have solutions ready. But you might say, but my kitchen is different. And that's true, you'll never find 100% identical reference. But once you start collecting and sorting references, you'll begin to see patterns. And in real projects, you'll start aiming to recreate those patterns. They are training ground for a visual experience, your eye and your technical skills to create these images in software. Of course, you should find references for every scenario you work with. The good news is there are not so many unique situations, maybe 30, 40 for all types of architectural visualization. And of course, a few different ways to approach in each scenario. You start making decisions based on knowledge, not a guesswork. The process of collecting and organizing references itself helps you develop a clear sense of what good actually looks for you. You start making decisions based on knowledge, not guesswork. And that's crucial because you are working on something you genuinely like. You're far more likely to do it well. If you don't like it, it's much harder. A fair question is, what should I do if the client asks for some specific shot you don't have in your reference typology? I hope you already review all possible image types, and that is one is missing because you believe this is a poor solution. But if you don't have that typology simply because you overlooked it, that's on you. And you need to go back and do the reference work again. If you genuinely think client's reference is a bad idea, you have 2 options. First, be honest with your clients, explain your concern, and propose a solution you believe in. Second, treat the client request as additional shot, keeping your reference as the main direction. Important, permanently keep updating your collection. That's how you develop taste, visual awareness, and your own style. And look, you can't just download my references or someone else's board. It will not work. This is your path. Quick note on rules like rule of thirds, symmetry, Fibonacci, etc. They don't work as a system of creating strong images from scratch. They just pattern you sometimes notice, but they are not reliable practical tools. Don't get me wrong, I love them, but they are not step-by-step guidance. References are. If you're looking at images you find beautiful, but your own work turns out poorly, it's likely because you drifted too far from the reference, and you are not ready that yet. In that case, you need to stay closer to the reference, learn from it, copy it, because in that process, you are building both your visual experience and your practical skills. You gain hands-on experience in producing strong visuals, and you start to understand what they actually made of. So let's imagine you already done the prep work. You build the reference board, your head is filled with solutions for any situations, and now the projects come on your way. First step, build an entire scene with all furniture, details, and larger decor pieces. Every measure and mid-size element is part of the composition, and you can't move to the lighting without it. Next, place your cameras based on two things: the object you have and the references you selected. If your projects include a kitchen island, look at the references you choose and analyze their composition. Next, general feeling. Actually, you can take the composition from one reference and emotion from another. General feeling, that's where the magic really happens. You have to match the light intensity, its color, the main color of your scene, and keep everything cohesive, including the composition and all of the details. It takes practice, and that's actually what RENDER.CAMP is for. Typical question: am I need to have a reference for every shot? And the answer is no, but it depends on your skill. A reference is a scenario, is a mood, direction. It can be applied to multiple shots if you have enough artistic skill to interpret the reference for other areas of the project. If not, you need a little more practice, like training before competition. And yes, I mean copying references, even if just a simple box modeling and general feeling. You can also use your old projects where you already have all the models and apply the emotion from a reference you like. If you can do it your own, welcome to RENDER.CAMP. Why all this matter? Your client are comparing your images to a whole world of beautiful pictures. So your quality is absolutely critical, and on top of that, they need them delivered quickly. For example, I created these 13 shots, general feeling, just in 3 hours, all based on one reference. Same materials, but unique camera, sun position, and tone mapping per shot. The result, consistent, realistic, beautiful. We show them to the client, approve them quickly, and then we add textures, did the post, and there is the final images. So, what can be a reference? Short answer, only professional photography. Long answer, it depends on your level. AI often creates details that don't exist in reality, and it's harder to capture the mood from it because the details affect the lighting and colors. But you can try, and if you see the picture in front of you better than real photography. Using other people's renders as reference is like making salads out of someone else's salad. I don't think it's a great idea, but it's definitely better than nothing. So my advice is work with real photography. Again, references aren't about copying a single image and calling it done. It's a way to learn the kind of reality you like, understand exactly how it looks in real images, not just in theory, and develop the technical ability to recreate it. Even more, pick a visual style you want to master and stick to it for a while. For example, for several years, this was my go-to reference in architectural visualization. I call it Sunny Summer Day, a deep blue sky, warm greenery, strong shadows, and turquoise water. After 5 or 6 projects, I had mastered that mood and could recreate it almost without relying on reference. Next point, build your workflow and follow it in every project. It's a step-by-step system that repeats every time. You can develop your own, you can use mine, but you'll be able to lock in the quality in every checkpoint. This gives you consistency and control and speed. And by speed, I mean 2-3 hours for first image, from model to production result. Each additional frame, of course, goes faster. So, all that is how the best commercial architectural images are created today. And that's exactly what I show in RENDER.CAMP Professional Visualization Program. There we go through entire process, from selecting references to final animation under my guidance. We use different tools, 3D, AI, various render engines, of course, Photoshop. The goal is to achieve the best possible quality at the highest possible speed. You can either work on your own project or use training one. I recommend start with a training project, of course, but if you feel confident, you can go with a real one. If your projects don't look like this yet, and this is my students' works, welcome to RENDER.CAMP Professional Visualization. You'll learn how to make decisions, solve problems, and constantly achieve that high-end outcome. You won't be alone. I guide you, correct you, and show you how to push your work at a strong level. RENDER.CAMP is about understanding, confidence, technical skills, and the ability to constantly create strong architectural imagery no matter what.